Well, the other day I did a video on the opioid plague that's in the country, and it was estimating that 23 million people in the US are currently abusing drugs. That is absolutely outrageous. If you have that amount of drug addicts in your country, there is no way you are going to ever get this thing under control, especially treating it as a public health issue. But it's amazing. This thing has ran nearly 20 years with no end in sight. And their continued approach to treat it as public health, when the crack addicts were all rounded up, and even family members that had nothing to do with crack were all thrown in jail. All of them. They took generations away, jailing people. And to this day, many of those people are still sitting in jail. Now, Obama did get some of them out at the end of his term, but the bottom line is there are still too many in there. Now America wants to change gear, and it's because of who's on these drugs. It's mostly white people. You know, they wouldn't be screaming public health and drug court and all that stuff if it were black people. They treated the black community totally different. Now, here's an article that just came out yesterday on Gizmodo, and I will leave the link to this article in the description box. It came out yesterday. Opioids are shaving months off U.S. life expectancy. And believe me, that's going to be increasing in no time. The United States has an opioid plague. Heroin overdose deaths rates have tripled since 2010, according to one report, and overall opioid overdose death rates have tripled since 2000. It's not going away. Absolutely, it sure isn't. Looking at how the opioid plague has affected U.S. life expectancy between 2000 and 2015. Scientists at the CDC learned that on average, drug poisoning deaths are accounting for an average loss of 0.21 years, around 2.5 months. The researchers came to their conclusion based on data from the National Vital Statistics System mortality file and factored these into calculations of the United States life expectancy in 2000 and 2015. Drug poisoning deaths increased from 17,415 in 2000 to 52,404 in 2015, and the drug poisoning death rate per 100,000 people increased from 6.2 to 16.2, mostly due to opioids. According to a new paper published yesterday in the Journal of the American Medical Association. If you haven't been following, American life expectancy is faltering. Last year, it was reported that life expectancy decreased for the first time since 1993. Our life expectancy is now lower than in most high-income countries, with this gap projected to increase according to the paper. Sure, life expectancy is a false measure. A lot of its increase relies on infant mortality. Since high infant mortality is like averaging a bunch of zeros into a large number, lifespan, meanwhile, is probably maxed out at around 122. But a lot of scientists have debated whether or not that's true. But if infant mortality isn't increasing, then it's pretty clear other factors are in play. Factors that won't fix themselves. You can best believe this plague ain't going to fix itself. You can best believe it. Putting all that aside, though, if part of America's presumed greatness in its life expectancy, then we're certainly losing steam. And despite the opioid plague being potentially solvable problem, the president still has not officially declared it a national emergency. That's because he hasn't signed the declaration. Okay, he made the announcement that it would be a national emergency, and that was over a month ago. And he has not signed that declaration. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's not going to sign it. He's not going to sign that. He sees how much money is being poured into this drug plague, and it's not putting a dent in people just not using drugs in the country. It's going strong. And I think he don't want to pour more billions into this thing, and you still got a bunch of junkies around. This should make you mad. Actually, it don't. After all, the researchers write, preventing opioid-related poisoning deaths will be important to achieve more robust increases in life expectancy once again. Ain't gonna happen. Life expectancy is going to continue to shorten because there's no incentive for these people to get off of drugs as long as you're calling it a public health issue and you don't want to put anybody in jail. And it's really draining the economy with all of the emergency calls on a daily basis all throughout the country. You are pouring all kinds of money into Narcan. You're pouring all kinds of money into all these rehab centers, and it says 90% of these people fall off the wagon within the first week of getting out of rehab. So it's really counterproductive pouring so much into this thing and putting your all into something that you're not going to be able to stop. If these people have decided they want to be on drugs, then they're going to be on drugs no matter what you do or say. You know, drugs have destroyed family and destroyed lives, and the morgues all across this country are overflowing with these bodies of drug deaths. It is not black on black crime or even car accidents or any of those things that are putting people in morgues in high numbers. It's this drug plague. It is now the leading cause of death in the United States of America. Period. Now they're estimating 142 per day, and I'm telling you, if they're telling you 142, it's probably double or triple that amount. Ladies and gentlemen, they're never going to tell the real true numbers because they're embarrassed by this shit. Period. Please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.